Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today, we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. Teenage love is one of the most intense, uncontrollable, and unpredictable feelings capable of truly destructive power. It is the first conscious experience of tender and passionate sensations, triggered by hormonal changes, as well as shifts in social interactions between a teenager and those around them. However, everyone sees and experiences this delicate feeling in their own way. Since this is an age of rebellion, self-discovery, and a quest for self-affirmation, young people often resort to reckless actions to impress their significant other, win their attention, favor, and admiration. In the spring of 2017, a series of extremely brutal crimes occurred in the quiet and peaceful town of Lawrenceville, located in the state of Georgia. These crimes resulted in the deprivation of life of 2 people and left 4 others in mortal danger. An elderly couple was tortured and beaten to death for money. 2 students were severely injured, but miraculously survived, and prompt intervention by law enforcement helped stop the bloody spree, preventing the young offenders from completing what they had started. The story of these young criminals, 17-year-old Cassandra Borga and 19-year-old Johnny Ryder, was compared in the press to the plot of Romeo and Juliet, as the lovers wanted to end their lives together. However, they preferred to compare themselves to Bonnie and Clyde, even though they were not familiar with the history of the legendary criminal duo. The most terrifying aspect was that this criminal pair targeted members of their own families, aiming to rid themselves of all their loved ones. Love at first sight. Cassandra Borga and Johnny Ryder first met in late January 2017 in the company of mutual friends. At that time, Cassandra was 17 and still in school, while Johnny had just turned 19 and had already been married and divorced. He was not ready for family life, and the marriage was a forced measure because his underage girlfriend had become pregnant. However, the pregnancy ended prematurely, and their union fell apart within half a year. When Johnny first saw Cassandra, he was captivated by her and fell head over heels in love at first sight. Despite her petite and attractive appearance, Cassandra was a bundle of powerful and unrestrained energy. She was seriously engaged in Tang Sudo, Korean martial arts, as well as Taekwondo, and had even participated in various competitions multiple times. However, she eventually quit training, claiming she lost her ability to concentrate due to emotional turmoil. In reality, the main reason was that the schoolgirl preferred partying with friends and had unhealthy habits incompatible with sports. The girl possessed a striking appearance and a slender figure, knew how to attract attention, and skillfully manipulated those around her, especially the boys who were in love with her. Many now doubt whether she truly loved Johnny or simply used him to achieve her terrible goals. However, the boy was clearly infatuated with her, ready to do anything for her, believing he had found his true love and soulmate. Ryder lived in his parents' house with his mother and 2 sisters, while his new girlfriend lived with her grandparents, who adored their only granddaughter. Almost immediately after meeting, a passionate romance ignited between the young couple, and they hurried to introduce their significant others to their relatives to demonstrate the seriousness of their intentions. However, their loved ones did not accept their choices, provoking their anger and putting themselves in mortal danger. It is likely that individually, this pair would never have committed a serious crime, let alone the deprivation of life of their family members. But in this criminal story, too many factors coincided, ultimately leading to a horrific tragedy. Johnny shared his girlfriend's addiction to prohibited substances, was easily influenced and manipulated, while Cassandra was the generator of monstrous ideas that her boyfriend was willing to execute without question. What is known about Cassandra Borga? Cassandra Borga was born on January 19, 2000 in Peachtree Corners, Gwinnett County, Georgia. She was the only child of Amanda Sterling, who had her out of wedlock. Cassandra never knew her biological father and never had any contact with him, while her mother was more focused on her personal life than on raising her daughter. As a result, Cassandra had behavioral and aggression issues from a young age. When Cassandra turned 15, her mother married a man named Stephen. Her stepfather began showing an unhealthy interest in his young stepdaughter and made advances towards her. Cassandra tried to tell her mother about this, but she did not believe her, thinking that her daughter was making it all up since she was a pathological liar and constantly got into various troubles. Between October 2015 and March 2017, the Borga family called the police more than 30 times because Cassandra constantly ran away, disappeared without explanation, started fights, stole, and behaved aggressively under the influence of substances. She became unmanageable. Cassandra's behavior spiraled out of control after she began dating Johnny Ryder. She brought her boyfriend into her grandparents' house, stating that he would now live with them. But Wendy and Randall were firmly against it. A similar situation occurred when Johnny tried to bring Cassandra to his family's home to live with him. His mother and sisters opposed it and kicked the couple out. Soon after, the lovers decided that anyone who stood in the way of their relationship had to be eliminated. They planned to deal with Cassandra's grandparents, take all their savings, get rid of Johnny's relatives, seize their funds, visit Cassandra's mother and stepfather to settle scores with them, and then flee to Florida to spend everything they could get from the three houses. The brutal dealing with the grandparents. Cassandra knew exactly where a large sum of cash was kept in the house of her grandparents. In one of the rooms on the second floor, a small safe was stored in a closet, the password to which was unknown to Cassandra. The reason being, after noticing money disappearing and realizing their beloved granddaughter was stealing, Wendy and Randall began hiding it. Wendy was 63 years old, and her husband Randall had recently turned 64. They had been married for over 40 years, raised a daughter, acquired their dream home, and planned to grow old together. On the second floor, they occupied 2 adjacent bedrooms, each with its own bathroom. The elderly couple couldn't manage their granddaughter, but didn't want to return her to her mother or send her to juvenile detention because they believed she could be rehabilitated and didn't want to ruin her life. On the night of April 2, 2017, when the elderly couple had already gone to bed, Johnny entered the house, led in by Cassandra, armed with kitchen knives and baseball bats. The couple climbed the stairs to the second floor. Cassandra entered her sleeping grandmother's room and stood by her bed, while Johnny approached Randall and started hitting him with the bat. The elderly man didn't immediately realize what was happening. He was disoriented, frightened, and unable to defend himself. Johnny jumped on the bed, standing on his victim, and continued to hit him repeatedly. Meanwhile, Wendy woke up from the noise, hearing dull thuds and sounds similar to a muffled scream. In the darkness, she saw a figure by her bed and realized it was her granddaughter. She tried to get up but was immediately stabbed in the shoulder. The woman tried to defend herself, as evidenced by deep cuts on her hands, but the forces were unequal. Cassandra dragged her grandmother by the hair into the next room, where Johnny was cruelly dealing with her grandfather. The young couple tied the elderly pair with tape and continued to beat them, demanding the safe's code, threatening to end their lives if they didn't comply. Johnny held a knife to Randall's throat, but the elderly couple still hoped their granddaughter wouldn't dare to deprive her closest family members of life. However, a minute later, on Cassandra's command, her boyfriend started stabbing Randall in the stomach. Wendy cried out, begging him to stop, and gave the safe's code. Cassandra immediately ran to her grandmother's room to open the safe, and then, with a triumphant shout, Waving a couple of thick envelopes of cash, she ran back to show her accomplice that they had succeeded and the safe was opened. However, the torture of the elderly couple didn't end there. Cassandra and her boyfriend continued to beat them, trying to get the passwords to their bank cards to take more money. Wendy and Randall likely realized they wouldn't be left alive and started saying their goodbyes and confessing their love for each other. Cassandra later recounted this during her interrogation, and it amused her greatly. After getting all the necessary information, the young monsters first finished off Randall with a knife to the neck in front of his wife. Then, dragging Wendy into the bathroom, they continued to deal with her. She was finished off with baseball bat blows to the head done by her own granddaughter. At one point, Cassandra complained to Johnny that Wendy wouldn't die and still had a pulse. Then, Johnny slit her throat. They covered the bloodied bodies with towels and blankets to muffle any sounds that might alert the neighbors. Cassandra took a moment to clean herself up, washing away the blood in the bathroom before they left the house with a bag containing stolen money and valuables. Cassandra and Johnny then headed to Johnny's house, where his mother and sisters were asleep. They had already made a plan to eliminate his family next. The couple broke into the house quietly, armed once again with kitchen knives. However, the noise of their entry woke up Johnny's mother, Lisa, who came downstairs to check. Seeing her son with a knife and a stranger, she screamed, waking up her daughters, who rushed downstairs. In the chaos that ensued, Johnny attacked his mother, while Cassandra fought off his sisters. The noise and commotion alerted the neighbors, who called the police. When law enforcement arrived, they found Johnny's mother severely injured, but still alive. His sisters had managed to fend off Cassandra, though they were also injured. The police apprehended Cassandra and Johnny before they could escape. Johnny's mother and sisters were rushed to the hospital, where they received life-saving medical attention. The aftermath. Crime scene at Cassandra's grandparents' house shocked even seasoned detectives. The brutality and senselessness of the attacks were beyond comprehension. The elderly couple's devotion and the sheer savagery of their deaths left the community reeling. Meanwhile, Johnny's family faced a long road to recovery, both physically and emotionally. Cassandra and Johnny were arrested and charged with multiple counts, including murder, attempted murder, and burglary. During the trial, Cassandra displayed no remorse, often smirking or laughing at the recounting of her crimes. Johnny, on the other hand, appeared more subdued and often looked to Cassandra for cues. The prosecution painted a chilling picture of Cassandra as the mastermind who manipulated Johnny into committing heinous acts. The defense tried to argue that Cassandra's troubled upbringing and Johnny's susceptibility to influence played a role in their actions. However, the overwhelming evidence, including their detailed confessions and the horrific nature of their crimes, left little room for leniency. Both were found guilty on all counts. Cassandra was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, while Johnny received a slightly lesser sentence due to his perceived influence under Cassandra, but still faced decades behind bars. The case of Cassandra Borga and Johnny Ryder serves as a grim reminder of how unchecked anger, substance abuse, and manipulative relationships can lead to unimaginable violence. The community of Lawrenceville continues to heal from the scars left by these tragic events, hoping to prevent such horrors from happening again. Thank you for joining me today to hear about this tragic and unsettling case. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Stay safe and take care of each other. Until next time.